I left the office around 4:30, come here.
It's crazy.
So,
Back.
very, gonna take vacation. Very nice, very nice, very, very. HR director, Gary, for your own sins.
Thank you very much.
So I sent them a plan to make sure what I'm doing, like 7, 8 day flow. Having the one, I think one weekend. Impossible. Impossible.
Some of the documents.
Especially they take like a 4-day weekend, Friday to Monday.
Yeah.
Anthony, man, oh, emails.
Everything's.
It's like, what's the point? What's the point? You know, let's, do we get to work off his less stress?
Yeah.
The relaxing, but knowing the day before, what's it gonna be?
It wasn't manufacturing per se.
Yeah.
Because it was.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you know things are getting continued.
Yeah, I heard, this one's off, and this one's getting continued.
So the only three.
And yeah, yeah. So Anthony, if this is proposed language? I was gonna say, if this, what's the existing language? To compare to this, it seems like the same thing. Well,
So there should be the existing text in there that's crossed out, and then,
they look at this italic, they're gonna look at this underlined, it look like the same thing.
so the actual draft has all the original that's crossed off, and then, the underline is being added. Yeah, so they're not actually crossing off
Oh,
anything.
so the only thing that exists is just
Yeah,
E1?
all the text that isn't underlined exists. And all the underlined is the proposed new language.
So what's underlined is what's proposed, I got you, okay.
Yeah, but E1.
E1 doesn't exist either?
I think it does. Yeah, we have expansion in there. But that prevents them from expanding, so this would be like a special use permit to expand.
Probably does back in the day, Yeah, portals door, that's what means to close? Oh, yeah. Back in the day, you would.
Alright, is it recording?
It's currently recording it. Sue is not gonna be here tonight. Okay. He's at the night out.
Oh, that's it. That's what's happening in the park tonight.
Yeah.
Jump by it. So we can start. You know what? Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Town of North Providence Planning Board hearing. We're located at 2000 Smith Street, North Providence, Rhode Island. Will you please join me in saying our nation's Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It is 6:03 p.m. We'll begin by taking attendance via roll call. We'll start with you, Mark.
Mark Andriozzi.
Warren.
David Parenti, Chair.
Gary Oration,
Steve Patassi.
Brent Wigan, Town Planner.
Anthony Galone, Town Solicitor.
Okay. We do have a quorum for tonight, and second on the agenda was 114 Bard Avenue. If you're here for that presentation, just let you know that applicant has withdrawn. So again, if you're here specifically for 114 Baird Avenue, that presentation project will not be heard tonight. applicant has chose to withdraw.
Mr. Chair, do we have to vote to allow him to withdraw?
I don't believe we do.
No? Hmm.
So for item number one, on our agenda will is approval of the minutes taken from our planning board meeting July 9th, 2025. I trust that everybody here has been able to read through the minutes. And I'm just noticing, Mark and Gary, you were not present here at that meeting. Myself, Steve and Warren were. Can we, only three of us can vote on that. Can we still vote on that?
Yeah, it's a majority vote.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any corrections or comments, regarding the meeting minutes taken from July 9th? Warren?
No.
Steve? No, neither do I. Do I hear a motion to approve the meeting minutes dated July 9th?
So moved.
Steve Patassi has made the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Warren Riccitelli has seconded. All in favor of approving the meeting minutes dated July 9th, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve the meeting minutes dated July 9th, 3-0. Okay. Item number two, again, was a withdrawn proposal for 114 Beard Avenue. Item number three, excuse me,
Dave, would you mind just reading the
just
withdrawal
reading right through it?
letter into the record? Please.
Oh, sure. And should the letter obtained from Narragansett Bay Commission be read for the record as well?
I don't think that's necessary since the application is
Okay,
no longer on the table.
all right. Oh, this was given to you today. This is why it
Today.
wasn't in our
Mhm.
pockets. Okay, so the letter is dated August 13th, 2025. It is prepared by Taft and McSally, LLP, attorneys at law, 21 Garden City Drive, Cranston, Rhode Island. It's addressed to the Town of North Providence Planning Department. Brent Wiegand, Director of Planning, 2000 Smith Street, North Providence, Rhode Island. It's regarding 114 Baird Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island. The letter goes on and says, "Dear Mr. Wiegand, I represent Patriot Builders Incorporated in connection with the master plan application pending before the North Providence Planning Board and scheduled for a hearing on August 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. My client asks that his application be withdrawn as he intends to submit new plans reducing the density initially requested. Sincerely, John V. McGreen."
So the reason why I ask if we have to take a vote, he doesn't say my client withdraws his application. He writes my client asks that his application be withdrawn. That's why I was thinking we need to take a vote too. If you don't think so, that's fine. That's why I asked.
He officially, I mean, that's sufficient enough. He's not proceeding with the application anymore. He's gonna be submitting a new one.
Okay.
So I guess for the record, we can state that the North Providence Planning Department has accepted this letter. And the application has been withdrawn and no further action by this board is recommended by our council. Okay, good question, Gary. Item number three, applicant is Conley Law and Associates, 123 Dyer Street, Unit 3B, Providence, Rhode Island, 02903. The description is recommendation to the town council regarding a request for a zoning text amendment of section 409E, expansion of buildings or structures non-conforming by dimension to allow expansion of non-conforming for multifamily residential use with a special use permit. Do I have the applicant present?
Yes,
Okay.
Peter Friedrichs Esquire on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Good
Maybe again.
evening, planning board members. I'm here on behalf of this application. The long and short of it is that there may be locations in the town where there is underutilized land that is part of a lot of a non-conforming multifamily development, and there could be opportunity for additional development in those locations under certain circumstances. So what we propose to the town is this narrow set of circumstances where additional development may be acceptable. There's not a specific site in this proposal, so abutters have not been noticed, but under state statute and under this ordinance, any type of this development would have a special use permit with notice to abutters. So that's what's before you this evening. I'm happy to walk through it with you in further detail, but we're really looking to work with the town on this to try and identify situations where it may be appropriate for limited additional development on longstanding multifamily properties in the town.
Did you say you're from Connolly Law and
Yes.
Associates? And you're representing the applicant, or is the applicant Connolly Law and Associates?
So I'm of counsel with Conley Law and Associates to the applicant on this in the, so it's what's posted in the agenda. The Conley Law is the entity that submitted the zoning amendment request.
Okay. Would you mind reading through the proposed language?
Absolutely.
Thank
So the new language is underlined. This is the section of the zoning ordinance that addresses buildings or structures that are non-conforming by dimension. There's a subsection E here that allows expansion under that section that currently is limited to unoccupied or unused portions of the building. We are proposing to make that subsection E and a new subsection E1 and add a subsection E2. So E2 then goes in and has subsections A through E. And so the introductory part there, number 2, identifies when this expansion of a non-conforming by dimension would be permitted. And that is for multifamily uses. And they are permitted a limited expansion in conjunction with a special use permit under the following conditions. A, the expansion is limited to single family attached. Those are townhouse units with a maximum of 2 bedrooms per unit. B, existing and proposed development on the subject property has public water and sewer and frontage on a state maintained road. The subject property is located in an RG zone. The subject property abuts existing multi-household dwelling use. And the proposed development does not increase the total unit count by more than 50% above the pre-existing use. That's tied back to this type here, which is non-conforming by dimension.
Do any of my board members have questions for the applicant at this time?
I do,
Yes,
Mr.
I
Chair.
do. I do.
Steve, we'll start with you.
Okay. Peter, you stated at the beginning, and clarify this if I'm wrong, that you don't, this isn't because of any client Conley Law has for, representing something in this town? Is that what you're saying?
No, that is the case. We are representing someone who owns property in the town.
Oh, you are
Yeah.
representing some, okay.
So if this ordinance were adopted, a special use permit application will be submitted.
Okay, so you're not
in the town.
disclosing who the client is, but you do represent some client.
Right.
Okay.
I had a question for Anthony. So how would this relate to section F? Where it says, provided that such intensification is in conformance with the use in the lot per dwelling unit regulation.
That's Yeah, question. I mean, if you're allowing expansion, you're gonna have multiple units, you're gonna have multiple dwellings on one lot.
Yeah, so this specifically mentions the dwelling unit regulation per acre, so if that is specifically addressed in this, will we have to amend that one as well to allow it? To allow the special use permit?
No,
You don't think so?
No.
All right, that answers my question.
I mean, the general law has always been expansion of non-conforming uses is, prohibited.
Yeah,
so, on the section 2,
Hold on, Gary. Steve, were you all set with your questions for the?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. And thank you for clarifying that, by the way. All right, Gary.
I
go
thought
ahead.
when Brent asked, I thought.
It's all
Steve
good.
was
No,
all
I
set.
got it. I just
I'm
wanted to
sorry.
make sure thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, just on the section 2, just first question, it says a multifamily use which is non-conforming by lot area per dwelling unit shall not be required to comply with section 505. Can someone explain what section 505 is?
so I believe section 505 is,
It's the standards for special use permits in the town. So 505, so 505 establishes what standards we are to be abided by when we
Beautiful. Okay.
grant special use permits.
Excellent. Okay, so having said that, then what evaluation criteria would be used to evaluate if this were to pass? What evaluation criteria would be used to review a plan if we're saying that it's not required to comply with section 505?
A through E of this section.
Okay, well, those are, all right. So 2 says a multifamily use, so that's the premise. So right out of the gate, we've got a multifamily use that's conforming in terms of land use, conforming in terms of dimensional requirements, be it setback, but it exceeds the density requirement, correct?
Right, the lot area per dwelling
Right.
unit.
So then if you jump down to, I got a few questions. If you jump down to A though, expansion is limited to single family attached. So are you saying that in the first case, you have to have a multifamily dwelling and that you can only expand it to include what, one single family attached unit?
No, it's a construction type, so it's one where the unit
I'm
has,
sorry, it's what?
it's a construction type, so it's one where the unit has an exterior door. There's no interior hallway between units.
I don't understand. So all it says is expansion is limited to single family attached. So if I have so let me ask it this way. So I have a 5-unit multifamily dwelling that's non-conforming because with the existing land area, I should only have 3, but it's 5, so it makes it non-conforming. What is 2 telling me?
That you could add maybe 2 units that,
Not maybe, how many can I add to it? So it says single.
so I think
family.
under letter E, it's 2 units of the 5 because it's less than 50%. And they would have to, both units would have to be constructed such that they have direct exterior doors.
So if I have 5, I can only have 3, but I have 5, so this qualifies under this provision. So you're saying I could put how many? How many?
2 more, so you'd go to 7.
Oh, so I guess, can I jump in
Yeah,
here?
of course you can.
So what I'm hearing, Peter, is that A is, because I understand Gary's confusion, because I had the same question. So A is not limiting the expansion to one single family townhouse style unit. It's what A is saying is that the expansion is limited to single-family units that are attached to the existing structure, and that the construction of those units is limited to maximum of 2 bedrooms, and that there has to be an exterior, and that entrance and exit out of those units is via exterior door. So the single family, because I think we're getting hung up on single family, so single family really is limited to single family units.
Correct. They'd have to be
It's not, you're not limiting, A is not limiting the expansion to 1 unit.
correct.
It, okay,
Right?
is that where you were?
I think
You,
so.
Mike, that was my question
fair,
too.
yeah.
Okay,
May I go on?
yeah, oh yeah, go ahead, Gary.
I want to jump down to D.
Okay,
So it says subject property abuts a pre-existing multi-household dwelling use. So again, are you saying that if I have a multifamily use that's non-conforming, does D say that that lot has to abut another lot?
right. It couldn't be surrounded by single family homes.
What's the purpose of that? What difference does that make? If the use, if it's already non-conforming, it seems so narrow that you're saying that that structure, the subject of an application conceivably, that has 5 units, that should be 3, but it's 5, so it's pre-existing non-conforming multifamily because of lot area, that to have standing to write an application, it also has to abut another non-conforming situation. Well, what's the purpose of that?
I think we were concerned that the planning board and the town council might be concerned that this ordinance would be used to add a density in single family detached neighborhoods. So we wanted to really focus it down to the parts of the town where there's already multifamily housing.
Okay, and can I, so I understand that. Gary, did he answer your question? Because I have one clarification that I want to make to your question, because the way you read it, Gary, was that the subject property needs to abut a pre-existing non-conforming multi-household dwelling unit. But that's not the case. It just, what you're saying is it needs to abut a piece of property that has multifamily on it, whether it's conforming or non-conforming.
Correct.
Okay, so the abutting property criteria, Gary, is only multifamily use, not non-conforming multifamily use.
But this is pre-existing.
Well, pre-existing, yeah, pre-existing multifamily use on the abutting property, not pre-existing non-conforming.
So then should that just say existing? So pre-existing to me means something that existed either prior to the adoption of the zoning bylaw or any subsequent amendment. That's what pre-existing, non-conforming could mean just it's illegal because it just doesn't conform. So if you put the prefix pre-existing non-conforming, that means the non-conformity, again, either existed prior to the adoption of the bylaw or any subsequent amendments. So I'm just curious why in some instances you're using the word non-conforming and in other instances you're using the word pre-existing.
So I think our intent in writing this was that if this ordinance were to pass, that would be a date and time. And any multi-household dwelling would have to exist prior to the date of the adoption of this ordinance amendment.
Oh. Not at the time that
Not at the time of
not
the
at the time that the
application.
application is made?
No,
Oh, okay.
Question for Brent. So let's say someone wants to do this now without this amendment. One could always ask to do something, even if it's not allowed, you could always still ask. So in this case, if, and as Anthony said, typically bylaws and ordinances say that if you've got a non-conforming situation, the ordinance looks down upon and frowns upon an expansion of that, right? Okay. So, but one can ask for that. And the reason I'm asking, it says, because it says not to comply with section 505, so evidently 505 affords evaluation criteria to actually review something like this. So if we have a situation where, using my example, where you have 5 units on piece of real estate that should be only 3, so it's pre-existing non-conforming, what would one have to apply for? Would one have to apply for relief under section 505 and a variance, a land area variance?
So as of right now, I don't accept applications for expansion of non-conforming because it's explicitly not allowed.
Okay,
And that's what Kelly, you know, that's the way she described the process of, that situation.
so if somebody wanted to ask for a variance of 50,000 square feet and a special permit, you would not entertain that application?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, so that's why we submitted this zoning amendment, is we were told we couldn't apply for relief.
Good to know.
Okay. Warren, do you have any questions?
I'm just looking at the infrastructure. The subject property has public water and sewer and frontage on a state maintained road. And I would add into this that it have adequate off-street parking.
That's fine. We'd be amenable to that. We would be amenable to that. That could be added.
Adequate off-street, what's it, 2.5
Right, yep.
Yeah,
per unit?
standard is 2.5.
Okay, I would put that in there.
That's fine.
What, can I ask I'm gonna piggyback on yours. I have a curious question about why so specific about frontage on a state maintained road.
Just to limit impact on town maintenance and would require the development go through the state's physical alteration permit process. And be
I'm sorry?
stamped by, it would require that RIDOT review the development and approve the traffic impacts.
Warren, thank you for letting me expand on your comment on B. Do you have any other comments or questions?
I have a question more for Brent. So if someone has a conforming multi-unit and wanted to expand it and therefore become non-conforming, you don't look at that application either?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, the town just doesn't allow,
So whether it's non-conforming, but it's been allowed, or it's conforming and they want to make it non-conforming, we don't look at.
you can't create a non-conformance.
Okay,
Yeah, but if you have something non-conforming, you could make it conforming.
correct. But I'm just saying, if
Yeah,
like
you
if I
can't go
had,
the other way, right?
right, you could go the other way, but most people would not go the other way, but you know.
Sometimes, yeah.
I just didn't want to make sure, because I don't know how this would affect that in any way, but it just seems like if we have a non-conforming and then we want to add to it, we're making it even more non-conforming, correct? Is that what this is? I mean, that's the way
Yes.
Yes,
Simply.
absolutely.
in a nutshell, that's what it's trying to do,
Yeah,
right?
make it more non-conforming.
Yes, they are making it more non-conforming with a specific set of criteria that would allow for that exaggeration of non-conforming to exist.
So you asked, Mr. Chair, any questions or concerns? So no questions, but just 2 concerns I have. A, as I agree with Brent, it's contrary to what we do as planners to make something that's non-conforming, to make it more non-conforming. And secondly, this is so narrow.
Mhm.
It's very, very narrow. I mean, if we're gonna do something, and I can understand that, you know, just because we've always been doing something one way, we can always, as reasonable people, change our mind and
Yes.
go in another direction. But when you do, you kind of want it so that it could be available to the community, not just a very specific, this seems very site specific. Or a couple of sites, you know, whether it's state maintained, it should just be on an existing paved street, whether it's state maintained or
Hmm.
municipally maintained. It just, again, it's contrary to a very standard platform that you don't make something more non-conforming, and I respect your opinion, so it's not a criticism of the thought. Again, we should always contemplate change, but between it being, you know, contrary to a very hard principle of not making something more non-conforming and the fact that it's narrow, I've just got some concerns about that.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Yeah, no worries, Gary. I share your concerns. I also, on the flip side of things, understand how narrow it is. I actually appreciate the the applicant's representative here to, I guess, be cognizant of what conditions, something like this, if it were to pass, could present, and they are, it seems like the special, criteria here is limiting it so that impacts, are less, strenuous or exasperated on the town. So, on the flip side, so I agree, and I also kind of see
Both sides.
both sides of it. Peter, do you have any other part of your presentation, or does the board have any other questions for the applicant right now before we go into discussion? Because I think we can go into discussion. None? All right, thank you. Oh, actually, we should. Recommendation. We have a public.
No public comment on it.
No public comment on the recommendation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
I mean, you can take public comment, but it's not required by law, so up to you.
oh, well, since we have a small amount of public in the room, is any of the public here wishing to speak regarding this proposal? All right, great. Thank you. Seeing none. All right, I'll open up to discussion. Gary, I think you said your piece already. Just wanted to give the other fellow board members a chance to discuss and bat this around the table. So if anybody does have any comments or
Well, that's why I asked.
further
Brent.
questions.
That's why I asked Brent a question. I'm kind of in agreement with Gary. We're making something that's already non-conforming, more non-conforming, and it's kind of goes against what we're kind of doing. I mean, obviously, anything, like Gary said, anything can change and you can look at different things in different ways, but I find it hard to make something that's non-conforming, more non-conforming.
Just a reminder that this is a recommendation that the planning board is going to respond to, or it's a recommendation that we would have to make in either in favor or against. But the inevitable decision, Brent, stop me if I'm wrong, lies at the council, correct? The town council. So if there is any chance to amend or requests recommendations for the applicant to amend what they are currently proposing, now would be the time in the event that we would like to improve upon this, if improve upon is the right way, but if we want to edit it, now would be the time to edit for our council's review. Oh, Warren, you had an edit regarding item B.
Yep.
And that edit was,
That it have off-street parking,
that complies with the zoning ordinance?
correct.
Okay. And the applicant accepted that, okay. And that is for off-street parking complying, that would be for the expansion, or just limited to the expansion, or the entire structure?
Entire project.
The entire structure,
Entire structure.
okay.
See, I don't know if you could do that. I don't know if you could make something, let's say that the 5 units, Anthony, you could jump in. Let's say that in this instance, again, the example I gave where you got 5 units where only 3 are allowed. I don't think you could retroactively make something that's not conforming, complying,
Right,
right? You can't do that. So the new piece would have to comply,
correct.
but we can't do a reach back or a claw back and say the whole thing has to comply.
Right.
So I'd agree with, first of all, I think it's implied that they would have to comply with parking, but that's fine. We could put the language in.
Yep.
But I don't think we could make it such that whatever applies now applies to the pre-existing condition. It could only apply to the new, the expansion, if you may. So if they wanted to add 2 more parking spaces, I'm sorry, 2 more units, the two new units would have to comply. Whatever is already existing with the 5 units, we can't make them increase because they're grandfathered. That's the whole point of it.
So.
Okay.
With it. The appropriate parking spaces for the additional units.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, yep, I'm good with that, yeah, okay.
Does the board have any other modifications that they would like seen in the language? Being oh, go ahead.
A couple of months ago, I know there was a discussion from the council that they wanted to do away with a lot of the variances. They've been getting bombarded with too many variance requests. Is this adding to it? I mean, this is like a one-time. We're writing the gospel over here for probably something that'll never be used again.
But yeah, I disagree because the council's worked the opposite of what he's trying to do here. Brent put it, they've passed many zoning ordinances to decrease the density of the residential general zones from 14 to 7 units per acre in order to match the comprehensive plan. So
Yeah, I agree, Steve.
we're going back.
Yeah, I agree with Brent's
Yeah.
opinion.
On the other side, though, we had a recommendation to the council not to accept a change in the ordinance for what was it, when if there was a structure that had already previously been on the lot. Yeah, I can't remember the exact wording, but we had a negative recommendation to the council regarding that zone amendment, which in the spirit would help de-densify North Providence, and the council chose to.
That was the special use permit to subdivide lots into non-conforming sizes if they were lots of record. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes,
Yeah.
and we had added, only if there was an existing structure or a pre-existing structure on that lot, which they chose not to accept. But in any event, I think variances are just part of the council's purview, and I don't know if we can alleviate that, or alleviating that should be part of our decision-making process here.
And I gotta say, we're only having like 2 or 3 zoning board meetings a year, so they aren't inundated with
Sure.
variance applications.
Yep.
So as far as the council is concerned, any zone change amendment is it's a legislative decision of the town council. So it's in their discretion whether or not to accept,
Yeah.
or reject the planning board's recommendation.
Yes.
Right.
Warren, are you saying they were inundated with zone change requests or variance requests?
Variance.
So that goes to the zoning board. And
Well, if this passed, any variance would have to come before us anyway,
yes,
okay? And then our recommendation would go to the council,
to the zoning board.
to zoning, and obviously to the council after.
The town council doesn't see variance requests.
Council's only zone change, zoning
This is zoning change.
But they may have been referring to the amount of zone change requests, which there have been, several recently, so.
Sure. So, my general stance on this is it is retroactive. It would be taking a gigantic step backwards from just kind of rote procedure in land development process. And then specifically to North Providence, it would be taking another huge step backwards in our efforts to codify and have our zoning ordinance and comprehensive plan speak the same language or utilize the same language, at least when it comes to density. That's my general thought on this. So if does anybody else have any discussion they would like to set forth? If not, a motion should be made on the, on recommendation on a positive recommendation or a negative recommendation, including the edits that, we had requested be made to, item B.
So David, just for procedure, do we typically always make the motion in the affirmative, or you could even make it in the negative?
I think you can make it either or.
You can send a positive or negative recommendation.
Yeah.
No, what I mean, no, so to bring it up for a vote, should it be in the affirmative, and if you don't agree with it, you just don't vote in for, or does it, oh, you should?
Yes, so you can either,
Whatever-
so someone makes a
whatever
motion
motion
and
you want.
then you all can agree, or you can,
Yeah, but I was just saying, is it, for example?
No, you don't have to make a motion in the positive.
Okay,
You don't.
yeah. or
You can make a motion in
back.
the negative,
Okay,
and we
all
can vote on
Okay.
yeah. I
if that,
understand. Okay.
yeah.
And you'd have to incorporate any findings or reasoning if you want, so the council has some.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yeah, with the dissenting,
Edification.
yeah. All right, so, I'll make a motion that the planning board, vote to deny, the zoning text amendment on the section 409E, expansion of a non-conforming use as presented, in the July 9th, 2025 report from the town planner.
Motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Okay. So Gary has made a motion, not to, made a motion to, for a negative recommendation on the proposal, and, Steve has seconded it. I don't think we will take a roll. I think we'll just say, all in favor, aye, and all opposed to the motion, nay. So all in favor of,
I just have a question. Do we have to put in reasoning now in the motion? Or can you do that after the vote? Like, in other words, if we were gonna say because of,
this, do,
No, I
do we
think-
need findings of fact in a recommendation? Yeah, so I don't,
No, but you have, what are your reasons? This advisory opinion is going to the town council.
Yep.
You're gonna wanna know the reasons for any positive or negative recommendation.
sure.
And I think the motion that was made referenced a staff report that the
Yeah.
town planner
Correct.
made, that it
okay,
has some findings
I
that
just-
will be incorporated in the,
I just wanna make sure
Yeah,
before
so to
we
answer your
vote.
question, no, after you make the motion, you just vote it, then how we support that with the, in this case, a dissenting opinion. We just leave that up to Brent to incorporate. I did cite his
I
report.
just wanted to make sure before we voted.
Based on the recommendation.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
That's all right. No, it's a good question. So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. All right, next on the agenda is item number 4. The address is 12 and 14 Mayanella Street, Assessors Plat Lot Plat 2, lots 370 and 371. The zone is residential general. The applicant is Jake D'Amico Esquire, 51 Jefferson Boulevard, Suite 400, Warwick, Rhode Island. The description is a recommendation to the zoning board regarding a request for a special use permit under section 203B4 district use regulations for a multifamily use, as well as a 28-foot lot width variance to construct a third unit on the existing duplex.
Can I just confirm before we start? The merger was recorded already, correct?
No.
It wasn't,
was
all
not.
right. So it's still 2 separate lots, but there's a plan to merge them.
Yes. Okay, so the lots 370 and 371 are still separate from each other.
They're under the same ownership and it's our plan to merge them together.
Okay,
370 and 372 or 371?
what did I say?
370,
370 and 372.
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
correct. No, just making sure. So, good evening. Again, Attorney Jake D'Amico here on behalf of the applicant for 1214 Manila Street. As the chairman said, we're here tonight for a positive recommendation for a special use permit under section 203B4 to allow for a third residential unit, and as well as some limited dimensional relief. So the property currently contains a two-family dwelling, which when combined will be sitting on a lot approximately the size of 20,283 square feet, which exceeds the land area required for a three-family use in a RG zone. The proposal is to add that third unit to convert the existing structure to a single unit and to do an addition for a total of 3 units on the 20,000 square foot lot. In addition to the special use permit, we will be needing some zoning relief for front yard setback for existing conditions with the current single family unit, or excuse me, two family that we're converting to a one, for front yard setback, which has an existing 17.8 feet where 25 feet is required. Side yard setback, we have 3.3 feet existing where 10 feet is required, and lot frontage on an improved road. We have 72 feet existing where 100 feet is required for the 3 units. These are pre-existing conditions. They are the result of the lot's historic configuration and the existing structure, not any action by the applicant. The variants are modest and technical in nature. They don't involve increasing nonconformity. Our addition will respect the existing setbacks and site layout. The lot has more than sufficient overall width. It's just that an area for the proposed density, but only a portion is fronted on an improved road. We only have that 72 feet of improved road for frontage. I think the total width of the property itself, when combined, is over or is nearly 300 feet. The existing building predates current zoning requirements, as I mentioned before, and relocating or altering it to meet current setback requirements would just be unreasonable and detrimental to the structure. The proposed third unit is consistent with the RG district's intent to encourage high-density residential uses. The neighborhood already contains a mix of single and multi-family units. And the project will preserve, we think, the upgrade of the existing housing stock without creating any adverse impact on traffic, infrastructure or public health, safety. We believe the proposal is fully in harmony with the purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance as well as the town's comprehensive plan. For these reasons, we're here tonight respectfully requesting a positive recommendation for the special use permit, as well as the zoning relief needed. If the board has any questions, I'm here. We can talk through it.
I'd like to point out that there is a wetland preventing the applicant from meeting the standard of bringing the road to the opposite end of the property. So there is some kind of hardship there due to the unique characteristics of the land.
So Brandon, I got a question. It says the wetland area, it's to the north of the existing pavement. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, but that's pretty far away. That's gotta be, over 150 feet away. Am I correct? Am I reading this correctly? So there's the end of Minelli Street. Then if you go continue north, it's gotta be about 100 feet before you get to the wetland buffer, correct?
I would say about
And that's
roughly
the
100
buffer.
feet.
That's not even the wetlands, that's the buffer.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Okay. So, but that wouldn't interfere with extending the road, would it?
So the standard is they have to bring the road to the edge of the property. So it would prevent them from doing that, but I don't think it would prevent them from getting the 100 foot frontage.
Right, but so a couple of thoughts. So I don't mean, so in the report, it says they need a 28-foot lot width variance. Did you mean lot frontage or lot width?
So in this town, it's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
We don't
Yeah,
differentiate.
it was a little hard to understand because when you look at it, it's a lot width requirement, which we clearly have the lot width. But I guess the way that they measure it, it's not spelled out in the actual code. But it's been standard that that is by on an improved road. There's no actual specific language to that effect, but I think that's how the board has been,
Yeah.
looked
Yeah,
at
so
it over
we
the
essentially
years.
equate them, be the same thing.
So it's,
All right. So, Meg, go on, Mr. Chair.
So to comply, let me just ask one question, Gary. So to comply, the current lot width is 70, the current frontage is about 72. What is the dimensional, what would be the dimensional criteria to conform?
Yeah, what's the? minimum front-
100 feet for a 3-family is the frontage requirement.
So-
And the subdivision regulations require
So
to
it's,
go all the way to the end of the property. So the lot width variance would allow them not to touch the road essentially.
but we're talking about, really what the relief requested is for 30 extra feet.
28 exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. You can continue, Gary.
Okay, so is the 2-family occupied?
it is not,
So it's not occupied.
no.
And the dimensions of the proposed 1 unit, that looks massive. Is it correct? It's
Oh, so,
56
oh, excuse me, go ahead.
So is the dimensions of the proposed 2 stories 56 by 26?
Yes, so the existing structure, what we were hoping to do is just convert that into 1 unit. And then, so it would be 2 units that are into the addition.
So you're gonna convert the existing, what is considered a pre-existing 2-family, you're gonna convert that, you're gonna make that a 1.
Well, the whole project would be converting the 2 to a 3. But at least within the footprint that exists, that would be converted into technically 1 unit.
I don't understand.
You
what
gotta be
it says.
clear about that. And
So right now it's an
Your
existing,
facade elevation shows 2 doors on the proposed building. So, but your application says you're proposing 1 additional unit, but your elevation plan shows 2 doors.
yes,
there's already 2 units existing.
No, let's take these one at a time. I'm looking at your elevation A 4.1. Right, I'll wait till you get there,
Forgive me, I have
Yeah, take your time.
4.1, here we are.
Yeah, lower right here, yeah, A 4.1.
Yeah, yeah.
So I see 2 front doors on the proposed addition. Your
Yes.
application says 1 family, so why do you have 2 front doors on the proposed structure on the front?
The
you
existing. the
have an
struc-
existing, you have an existing structure
structure
that
is
has 2 units in it.
Yes,
And the application says that the addition is gonna add 1 additional unit. And we see the existing structure on the elevation.
Mhm.
And so in our minds, well, that existing structure currently accommodates 2 units. And then we see the new structure being added, and it's proportionally a lot larger than the existing structure. And the elevations for the new structure have 2 doors on it, which is implying to us that there's more units than just 1 unit going into the addition.
I completely understand. That makes perfect sense to me. When we filled out the application, the way it was filled out, we had 2 existing units that were already there. And we were proposing an additional unit. But I could see how that would be confusing because we're taking the existing 2 unit and we're reconfiguring it to a way where that structure is gonna be just 1 unit.
1
And we're
unit.
gonna do 2 additional units, but it's
not what the
It's only the
application says.
addition of one unit. Because there's 2 there currently.
So they're adding 1 unit total to the overall property and they're moving one of the existing units from the existing structure into the new addition.
Do you have any floor plans?
We do have floor plans. I believe we submitted them.
So I only got floor plans for the existing structure.
Oh,
I got a architectural rendering of the whole exterior, but as far as floor plans, it's only the existing reconfiguration.
well, I thought we had submitted the floor plans as well for the whole structure. I mean, I have them here, which is a copy of, I thought, what I had submitted to you guys. I have a couple here, so if you'd like to see them.
Pass them around. Just like that.
I just don't think, yeah, I have, this looks like it's the floor plan, the second floor framing plan. See if I can find something for us. The existing multifamily, is that a top and bottom or a side by side? It is top and bottom.
Do you have another floor plan? Do you have the second,
I got
second
the-
floor plan?
This is the second floor plans, but it was for the electrical and the fire. But you can see the layout. Keep looking. Should have something else in here for us.
Yeah, it shows the layout. Which was,
Another question.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
So can we talk about the parking? I'm gonna come back to the site plan in a second. Can we talk about the parking then? The three spaces or the three stalls in front of on the lower left, on the left-hand side of the plan. Are those existing or proposed?
Those are proposed.
Okay, so I'm reading, correct me if I'm wrong. At least from the back of the parking space to the property line. Says 12.8 feet.
so, no, those are existing, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
They're labeled existing on the plan. I believe they're there currently.
I'm sorry, you said to the right of the proposed
No,
structure?
I said the ones that are in front of the existing two-story.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, those are existing.
Oh.
Forgive me, I thought you were talking about the right side.
So those are non-conforming. We, under the current regulations, we don't allow backing into the street.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
So those are allowed to remain as is.
Yep, I agree. So let's talk about the proposed parking to the right of the proposed structure. I can't read this. This is really, really small. What are the dimensions of the parking spaces?
That's 18 by 9,
They're 18 by 9.
18 by 9.
which is standard.
So I'm just curious, so why can't you, so if the frontage requirement is 100, and I get it, the subdivision regs say, I don't understand why, but you have to take the pavement to the end of the property line. But to satisfy the frontage requirement or the lot width, it seems like they're synonymous. Why can't you just extend the road 28 feet?
So when you touch the road at all, you have to bring it to standard, which requires a cul-de-sac, which would take up a large portion of the
An
property.
existing layout, it requires a turnaround,
If you touch it, you have to bring it to standard, yeah.
then nothing should have get to, who could put turnaround in an existing layout?
So that lot was previously undevelopable and that the gentleman was actually gonna offer it to the land trust for free because it wasn't able to be built on until this applicant purchased the property. And then they merged it to create a more conforming lot essentially.
All right, thank you, Brent.
Speaking about Mayanella Street on the, in our packet, Brent, the, aerial photograph. It does appear that Mayanella Street continues to the north and then, turns to
On-
the east.
On paper, it's a through street, but it will never be developed because there's a wetland preventing it.
So the wetland prevents Mayanella Street to continue to take a right and to end up on Dodge Street.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And getting back to if you touch the road, you have to bring it up to standard.
Yes.
Is there um, is there a variance process for that? If you touch the road and you don't bring it up to standard?
So that would be a subdivision waiver.
I'm sorry?
That would be a subdivision waiver.
So there is a process that the applicant could seek
Yes,
and go down that road, so to speak,
yes.
Okay.
Just for the cul-de-sac.
for the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So when you said the cul-de-sac, so he couldn't, well, in any generic condition, so if we said to extend the road just so it meets the minimum frontage, but you said that they could ask for a waiver, so that when you say the cul-de-sac, you mean the turnaround?
Yeah, so there's a requirement for a 80-foot diameter
Yeah, right,
cul-de-sac at the end
So
of,
what would they be requesting a waiver from? From not to have to extend the road all the way? Or not to have to put in a turnaround
it'd be
because,
from the design standards for streets.
yeah, because how could you possibly put
Right.
an 80-foot circular turnaround when it wouldn't fit inside the right of way? It'd be going
Correct.
into everyone's property.
Correct. Who would, do you mind me asking, who's the authority that would grant that waiver?
You.
It would be us.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I would think then, if we're looking at all this relief, that they extend the road and then, if they don't appeal this, then we should just grant the waiver on the road extension. At least that way they comply with the frontage requirement. You get a little more roadway, you have the fire department have a little more access there. And I'd be willing to grant the waiver on the road extension. So it doesn't have to go all the way with the turnaround. I mean, that's only reasonable.
So it was the staff's opinion that since the road isn't able to continue any further,
Mhm.
that would be undue. It would be non-necessary impervious surface that you're adding to an area with wetland.
Not necessary, you need it to meet your frontage requirement.
Right.
But there's no opportunity to continue it, so, is that 30 feet going to substantially change the access to the property?
But I'm just
That's up to you, but I just want to bring
Sure.
that up.
Sure. I mean, it could, it may well could, because going back to the parking, just looking at that parking layout for the new one. That it looks like there will be difficulty maneuvering in and out of those parking spaces. So, I mean, theoretically, I'm not drawing right now, but
I see your point,
it
David.
seems like if you do extend that road, it could open up another means to getting into the parking area, which would alleviate first of all, the tight turning radius that you need to make a left and a quick right. And then hopefully your neighbor's not backing out at the same time and you're creating a log jam. So I do see some benefit in developing the site from the parking access standpoint by extending the road. And I also do see the point of at least contemplating at least being cognizant of the fact of trying not to add impervious material as well. So I see merits in both circumstances.
I have a couple of questions here.
Is it about the street?
Last year or the year before, we had a development on this street.
Mhm.
Mr. Cordalesa put 3 houses up, remember? We did have, we did refer this to the fire department for a cul-de-sac waiver. And they were concerned about access going in on one block, Sullivan Street, and then on Manila Street. And they let it go. They said that there was enough turnaround space at Sullivan for them to exit when they completed their operations. But my concern is, what is the separation between number 10 and number 11? It looks like on my drawing, it says 3.5 feet between the two buildings now. Okay. And that says two stories, 2 families. We did the same things with Mr. Cortellessa, but if I remember right, we made them one-bedroom apartments. So now are one-bedroom units. I'm not exactly sure on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what we ended up doing. To put in more bedrooms at the end of this street that has limited access. I have my consideration that it shouldn't be done. I'd like to hear from the fire department on it. I don't think there's enough parking for the amount of cars that are there. You're using our formulas that we had 2.5 cars. You got 2 now. You want to put in a 2-story with how many units total?
Just 3 units total.
How many?
Three units total.
3 units total,
Yes, sir.
one existing and
2,
2 units on the side. That's not. what
there's two, there's some confusion. There's 2 units. It's a 2-unit existing building.
Right,
And we're gonna add 1 additional unit. It's gonna be restructured. So the unit's gonna move, but there's gonna be a total
there'll
of
be
3
2
units.
units in the new structure,
Yes,
2 units per floor.
two units in the new structure and 1 unit in the existing structure.
Okay, so
For a
it would
total
be
of 3
half the
units.
size that your actual drawing is showing.
I'm sorry?
It would be about half the size that the drawing is showing.
No,
What would be?
No.
What he's showing on the drawing is the size of the building. He's taking the 2 units that are in here. He's making that existing structure into a 1-unit, Warren.
Yeah.
This will be a 1-unit,
Okay,
and then this new structure is gonna be a 2-unit, 1 on the first floor, 1 on the second floor.
okay, and the other.
Am I correct,
The
sir?
other one will be
Yes.
split. Okay, so.
No,
that's 3
no, this, what do you mean by split? This is gonna be a 1-unit.
One unit,
Yep.
the bedrooms on the upper and
Well,
living below.
We can refer to the floor plan. I'm not exactly sure of the layout, but um,
Yeah.
So you'll have 3 units, 8 parking spaces, a little more than 2 spaces per unit. Yes,
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
well, you would not, I thought you,
I thought you said we had 8 unit, or
3
8.
units
Yeah.
and 8 parking spaces.
Yes, sir.
So you're gonna have a little more than 2 parking spaces per unit.
Yes.
Okay.
And the backside of the property would have a walkout basement. I'm just worried about for fire protection on the back of the
Oh.
building, because I know it tapers down to the river.
Yes, so the existing building has a walkout basement and that we would put walkouts on the other 2 units too.
Would there be enough room in the back for the fire department to fight a fire in that building?
I would think so, yeah, yeah. In my
Again,
my
I'd like to
opinion.
see the fire department.
Yeah, no, I
input on
understand,
this.
yeah.
On other things on this street, we've had the fire department input on that, and we'd like to see what they say. I would like to see that.
Yeah, that's,
So you're saying you want to see that before we make a decision, Warren? Okay.
on the elevation, the rear elevation, the lower level does extend, the full width of the proposed structure, with a fair amount of windows, suggesting possible living spaces in the basement. What's the proposed use for the basement in the new structure? It's, I'm referencing
I have
drawing A
one-
4.2.
I have A2.1, I have unfinished basement shown on the lower level, it's an unfinished basement. What was the number? I'm sorry that you were referring to?
The drawing is A 4.2.
You see a deck.
What I'm seeing, it has an unfinished basement, but that doesn't. I might have given my copy away earlier, unfortunately.
Do you need those copies back? I can give you back.
I don't know if, that, the one that we're specifically looking at, it might be one of the ones I handed out, but. No, the 4.2 is in the packet.
Right.
One of the,
Right, it is, yes, it is in the packet.
A4.
You want my copy?
Sure, just to, at least to see what. How many bedrooms are in each unit?
You can have that. I have another one.
Everybody know that?
It's showing the back wall, but it's,
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's windows and a door underneath the deck.
From the plans that we have shown, it's just, it's an unfinished basement.
It's unfinished basement.
Yeah.
And we'll, who will be using the basement? Is it, accessible for each of the units
I
within
believe
that?
so.
Yeah.
So, or it may be divided off, I'll have to look through these again.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if we got to that point, we could, you know, distinguish, you know, between units.
I think floor plans would have definitely helped your presentation. Specifically, you know, the board's questions when it came to, where the units were and how they're gonna get reshuffled around. I think we worked through that. At least I understand how the units are gonna get shuffled around. But that exterior elevation, of the rear does,
This is what you received, this packet.
yes. Yeah.
I submitted floor plans, elevation plans.
Didn't get
So
any of
we
that.
have a floor plan of we have an existing floor plan of the existing structure, A 1.1.
Everything.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't make a copy for myself. But I have certainly had them. I believe I
Brent,
emailed them PDF as well.
Yeah. So if if the applicant met the frontage or the lot width, right, no relief was being requested, then this project would meet, this is a question I'm having for you. Then would this project meet the special criteria for a special use, for the special use permit?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And if that project met the criteria for a special use permit, would the applicant have to come before this board to some,
They would have to come before this board for subdivision waivers for the cul-de-sac.
let's just say let's just say they met it. They met, there was no dimensional relief requested, because dimensional relief, the special use permit specific criteria says no dimensional relief needs to be met.
Yes.
Needs to be asked for. So if they weren't asking for dimensional relief and they then therefore met the design criteria for the special use permit,
Mhm.
what is the process that the applicant has to go for to get the special use permit if they meet all the dimensional criteria?
So, yeah, so for the three-family use, the special use permit is required. And if they got rid of
Because it's an
the,
RG, because it's an RG.
it
Yes.
still is,
Yes,
yeah,
yep.
in all zones.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not required. I'm just saying, how would the applicant
Sorry,
receive
so
this?
they would still need the special use permit, but they would no longer need the variance. Sorry,
Correct.
that's what I thought you meant earlier.
Yep.
So they would still have to come before this board for recommendation and go to zoning for the variance,
Got it.
or the special use permit, I'm sorry.
Right, special use permit, but they would meet all the criteria and
They would meet it.
therefore the board has then an opportunity to improve upon a project if we saw fit and if the applicant was amenable to it, And then we would make a recommendation and then therefore it moves on to the zoning board and the zoning board has the inevitable decision to grant the special use permit.
Yes, yeah, so the two criteria for multifamily special use permit is that there's no dimensional relief being sought. And that any multifamily and non-residential zones are treated as RG zones as far as density is concerned. It's
Right,
not,
when it's in commercial, but that one, that doesn't really apply to this.
it doesn't, yeah, so there's
Okay.
only one that applies.
Okay.
I-
Does
I-
does everybody understand that? Yes. Okay.
I just want to clarify, the existing unit will be changed from a duplex or from 2 units to 1 unit with 3 bedrooms.
Yes.
And both of the additions, the first floor and the second floor, they're separate units, and each one of them are going to be 3 bedrooms.
I'm pretty certain, yes.
At the
I
end of
I
the
had
street, I
the,
don't like it.
well, I've submitted floor plans that show the numbers of bedrooms. Unfortunately, we don't.
Yeah, but I
actually
can't
seem like
follow
they
it.
were included in the.
How many
packet.
bedrooms are in the existing structure now in each duplex?
So you have a floor plan for that one.
We do. That is
Yeah,
true.
that's the last page.
At the last page?
Yes.
And I gave those copies of the floor plans that I had that showed the numbers of bedrooms just a moment ago as well. I don't
Oh, yeah,
know where those
and you
went.
also have that as well. So I think, Mark, do you have
Different
the
side.
plans that he
So
just gave the
Yes.
board?
So the existing structure right now, if we're just counting bedrooms, has 4 total bedrooms according to this plan,
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
So each unit only has 2 bedrooms.
Each unit only has 2 bedrooms
So they're looking to
Correct.
increase a bedroom
per each unit
per each unit.
and add a unit with 3. Yes. But I'm not sure if, there's no restrictions on number of
Bedroom.
bedrooms in the
There is, and
unit.
if they were on septic, there would be, but with
Yeah.
sewers, there's no.
Yep,
The land uses in question.
right.
I'm just concerned about it. It's a safety issue. In case of fire at the end of a dead end street. That's hard to get to.
I think it's an accurate or, a valid concern.
So Warren, are you asking that we obtain some insight from the fire department?
I would ask the fire department input in this. We asked them for the other stuff, I mean, we got 6 bedrooms at the end of a dead end street that's hard to get to. And the back, they're gonna need every ladder that they can get to the top of the building and it's sloping downward. It's a difficult place to fight a fire, I believe.
And Dave, to your point, if they did extend the road like 28 feet, then you'd have much better access to the parking lot.
You would, and it could also provide better access. I'm just speculating here, but it could also improve the access to the building for the
Yeah.
fire department. And it would,
I mean-
and it would also require less relief on, that the applicant is seeking, at least.
The variance, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, you're kind of swapping, right? One variance for another, but.
I don't see how extending the road out nearly 30 feet is gonna change anything with the back of the building we have units, a 2-unit there now that they would, if God forbid something were to happen, I don't see how extending the road 20 feet is gonna help them fight a fire in the back of that building.
I can tell you how it would. Right now, the road ends before the end of your addition. Okay? If you extended that road 30 more feet, at least just scaling off my drawing in front of me, then your road would extend past the end of your addition. The fire apparatus could have better access to the back of the building from two sides of your structure. The side that's on the south and now the side on the north. As the site plan is designed right now, without touching the length of Manila Street, the fire department has limited access to the back of the building only through the south. They don't really have good access from the north. if you did extend May and Ellis Street, the fire department then can choose which way to go to the back of the building, either the south or past the north elevation. I think it would help.
So are
What-
we, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna, I mean, like, are we, um, is the applicant amenable to extending the street to, meet the frontage requirement of the zoning ordinance, understanding that the street itself wouldn't conform to the applicable standards for a street, thus not having the 80-foot cul-de-sac?
Not knowing the topography, would it be best to ask advice from DPW?
Not yet,
Okay,
not yet. The applicant should have topography done.
I'd probably have to go back and speak with my partner and consider maybe just keeping it as a 2-unit and doing an addition just for 2 units, which wouldn't require a special use permit. But I would want to at least have that conversation beforehand, so maybe, we could continue this discussion before I, make any definitive, decisions.
Okay.
This is also a recommendation, so.
Yep.
You can recommend anything you want to the zoning board and request anything in between to, give the zoning board the information. that
Sure.
they need.
The hearing been advertised?
For zoning, it has not.
So this, okay.
So can you talk a little bit about the runoff from the proposed parking lot? Did an engineer design a stormwater management plan?
We do have an engineer, yes, who's helping us. I don't know if he's prepared the plan yet, but
I'm just curious, is this gonna just be sheet runoff from the west easterly? Are you gonna put any type of underground cultec system for retention?
So
What's the stormwater design?
this is a multifamily and the town has a requirement during the building process. If it's not gone before the planning board,
What?
so if a project isn't going before the planning board, isn't.
Okay.
So we require a peer review of all the drainage engineering on all multifamily. And so essentially, this is just one addition, but if it was 3 new additions, they'd go before the planning board for a major land development and we do it then. But since this is just one addition, we're not requiring major land development. And that would be done through the building department as part of the building permit process.
So, okay, so let's say the board approves this
Or a
would just be a
recommendation.
recommendation.
Yep.
So this is where I get a little frustrated. It's like we make recommendations and it's like kicking the can down for someone else to make the decision and like, I'd like to know how it would work. Because it might affect how I decide.
Yeah, I mean, if you would like that, then we can continue it. Like you
I mean,
I
requested,
think we
or
are anyway. It depends if the chair agrees, but I think what I heard the applicant say is he doesn't know about the extension and he wants to talk to his partner and come back to us in the
maybe
meantime.
cost prohibitive. We'd have to go to DEM to get approvals for the road. It would be significant delay.
Well, you're gonna go to DEM regardless because I understand you're outside of a 50-foot buffer zone from the river, but you're definitely within jurisdictional boundary of DEM. Were you aware of that, sir?
parking areas.
The building is,
I don't believe it is, but
the building is.
we have
So-
we have
so
a buffer.
Yeah, so DEM, they have buffer zones.
Yeah.
And they also have jurisdictional boundaries or jurisdictional review zones. And if that riverbank is actually a river, you're definitely outside, at least per the plan, you're outside of 50-foot buffer zone from the river. But from the river, you also have a jurisdictional review zone, which you're definitely within. And that review zone is
200 feet.
100 up to 200 feet. So, so I would, definitely advise you and the applicant to do some due diligence on what DEM is going to require of this.
It
of this
would be,
project.
it would be a different, it would be a different application if we were to extend the street, is all I was with DEM. But if we're in their jurisdiction for, we'll do our due diligence. We'll have the conversation.
So question for, well, let me look at the area. 1 second. So you've got houses right across the street.
Hmm.
Yeah. Your parking lot is facing those houses. If this is just sheet runoff and the intention is that water hits it, there's no stormwater, it's gonna go right across the street. I suspect you're not gonna have the water going toward your structures. So, and I'm not gonna speculate and assume which way it's gonna go, but conceivably, if it was to go, west to east, I think those residents across the street would appreciate that water coming off that impervious area onto their property, so I'd like to see a stormwater management plan. At least topography, let's see which way the water's gonna flow.
I understand. Unfortunately, I don't have it,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I
have it
understand.
prepared. I would think that as part of the, zoning application at that meeting, we would have that presented.
What's
I know
it's
you
the
would,
planning board meeting, though,
I know, I'm just,
But you gotta get
it's
past
a
those things.
recommendation. I understand.
Just a general question. Are these going to be, apartments rented or condominiums owned?
I think that's still something that we need to discuss.
Sure. Does any other planning board member have any other comments or questions for the applicant? Okay. So you heard a lot from us today. To Warren's point, we did review a project on this same road not too long ago. We did have concerns related to fire department access. And I think Warren's point here about having the fire department give a general review of the project regarding truck access to the site and also firefighting activities on the site would be beneficial. I do think that your general approach to the project could potentially be simplified, at least from the town's approval process, if you strongly considered extending the road to eliminate the dimensional relief that you are requesting tonight. And knowing that this board is the entity that would be reviewing a request to extend a road that doesn't conform, and we're also assuming that non-conformance, Brent, is limited to the cul-de-sac. It feels like you have a running chance, okay? I think that the parking lot that's proposed here would benefit from being massaged and could benefit by having opportunity to connect to the potential extension of Mayanella Street. The parking area, I'm gonna call it parking area from now, but we do have a zoning ordinance here for a parking lot. And access to a parking lot, you do need clear width of 24 feet for access, for two-way access. I'm not sure how to classify this parking area here and whether or not it's considered a lot. Brent, do you have a minimum?
I did notice that, and
spaces?
I too had that same kind of
Okay.
differentiation question.
Is a lot defined by a number of spaces or just a separated area for?
There is no definition.
Okay. So it would be up for the board's interpretation about whether or not this is considered a parking lot, and you would thus then need a potentially another variance for access into the parking lot, because right now it doesn't seem like the plan scales that you have a 24-foot wide two-way access. And thank you for your patience for our confusion. And thank you for clarifying how the building is going to be reconfigured. That was very helpful to us. And thank you for providing those plans. We did not receive them, so I'm glad you brought them here tonight. So, and Gary, your point or questioning was how drainage is working in topography.
Yeah, just the design, proposed design, for the parking lot.
Yeah.
And for the proposed one, Dave, not even for the existing, because we couldn't impose it on that anyway.
No. And are you is your, what's the information that you would like to have?
Sure.
See, is it, what level of information?
So the first thing, if you can put it on on a reasonably sized scale plan, even if it's a 40 scale plan. I'd like to see 1 foot topography. Hold on, let me get the segment. Yeah. So I'm looking at sheet 1 of 1. And I'm just talking about the proposed driveway parking. Hopefully you're gonna extend the road, so if you do, you would incorporate the stormwater with that, so I'd be looking at topography at 1 foot contours. And so I'd like to know if it's gonna go northeast, west to south, northeast, west to south. I'd like to know if you're gonna put where your catch basins are and whether or not you're gonna connect to the municipal system. Or if you're gonna propose groundwater infiltration or just merely sheet runoff. You can, and then we figure out, if that's a good idea or not. So 1 foot contours on the proposed lot. Again, if you do extend the street, I think if you straighten out the driveway entrance, so it's actually a better design so that cars can flow into it easier. Where your catch basin, I suspect you're only gonna have 1 catch basin. I don't know if there's any drainage in Minelli Street, so you may not be able to connect to a municipal system. But just overall, what's the proposal? Connect to a municipal system, groundwater infiltration, sheet runoff, and in what direction is it gonna go?
Understood.
And I believe these will all be, this is all information that DEM is gonna require from you. Whether you choose to move forward with this design or if you choose to take our board's our board's comments to heart.
David, question for you.
Yes, Gary.
We're gonna follow up on Warren's request to follow up with the fire department, or
Yeah, I stated that in
I
the beginning.
apologize.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
reading the plans when you said.
that's
that.
okay. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So given the discussion that we've had in the presentation here, what are your thoughts? Would you like for the board to further discuss the application as it is presented to us tonight? Or would you like to request a continuance to discuss some of these things with your partner?
No, I think I would prefer you guys to continue your discussion and make your motion tonight. Or your recommendation, excuse me.
Sorry, go ahead.
Your recommendation, I'm sorry, I said motion.
Please ask for a vote.
You're asking for a recommendation tonight? Not to continue?
I mean, if you were to give us your recommendation, I would assume that you would add some conditions to it and what you would expect. If you were to deny it, no? Give us a negative recommendation?
In that case, the zoning board still votes
That's fine.
separately, so
Mhm.
they could
That's
either
fine.
vote to affirm the planning board recommendation, or they could do otherwise, so.
So can there be a motion to recommend or not recommend and adding additional comments that we had requested?
So you could recommend that the zoning board approves it with specific conditions that the zoning board would consider, or you could recommend denial. I don't think you'd put conditions on the negative.
Right.
You're recommending denial.
Yeah, but I think, should we also tell them, just like in the previous case, why we would be voting?
Yeah,
in a negative?
yeah. that's
Right.
definitely-
Yeah, it wouldn't be conditions, but a reason, yeah.
And at the same time, if you were to give a positive recommendation, you correct me if I'm wrong, you could condition it upon A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Yeah, you could, fire access improvements, parking, address the parking concern Warren had, the drainage, the contours, the fire department memo.
Yeah, but we just don't know what the outcome of all that would be,
don't,
so
that'd
it's
be the
really,
zoning
really
board decision.
difficult. Okay. All right, well, thank you for deciding. And if nobody has any other questions for the applicant, we can enter into actually, there's one person and two people in the public. It's not a requirement for a public comment, it's a recommendation, but we have limited number of public here.
Well, one of them is my daughter, so she doesn't count.
All right. And the other one's my father, so he doesn't.
Making a family affair tonight. huh?
Yeah. All right, we can enter into discussion. So thank you very much for your presentation and answering our questions. Okay, start on my right. Mark, do you have any comments or topics for discussion for the board?
Couple of things. When Warren brought up the last project on Manila, and we reduced the amount of bedrooms from the original plan, wouldn't reducing the amount of bedrooms in this one make the building smaller, therefore less dimensions are needed? Or no? That's the first thing I have. And the second thing is, it's hard to make a recommendation based on some of the questions that we have.
Mhm.
I get, we don't know the outcome of them, but you want to be, fully informed about, what we're saying is a good recommendation or a negative one. We want to be able to say that with, as much information as we possibly can. So those are just some of my thoughts.
Yep.
About, we told, one person that a 2-bedroom was thing, and then we're gonna allow a 3-1. I don't remember how that went on. I mean, my memory doesn't go back that far, but
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
Brent does.
Yeah, no, the recommendation that the board would have to decide upon tonight would solely be based on the information that we're presented with today. And so so that's how the recommendation would need to be would need to be made. And, I don't understand the first question, if number of bedrooms was reduced.
Wouldn't the building size go down? And would therefore, would the dimension relief be needed?
So the question for Brent,
Yes.
but
Go ahead.
possibly the building size could get reduced, but a bedroom the square footage of a bedroom
Yeah,
could also
it's-
be something else.
Yeah, all right.
And I think that the dimensional relief requested is strictly because,
The
um,
street smaller.
no, is specifically because the change of a two-family dwelling unit is being made to a three-unit building, right?
Yeah.
It's so the dimensional relief is a result not of the size of the building, but the number of units.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 6 items here, and number 1, topography, and I think that is key to the other ones, which is looking at the topography, the road extension, the driveway, stormwater runoff. The fire department's okay, and EM, they're all play off the topography. And we have nothing to go by as far as topography is concerned.
Okay, yep. So I'm hearing from you, Warren, is that information would put you in a better position to make a recommendation. Okay, Gary?
So I have 4 points. First, I agree with Warren about getting the information from the fire department. And without that information, I'm very uncomfortable voting in the affirmative. I think the parking lot is poorly configured, which kind of segues into my next comment, which is I don't think there's any basis for the lot frontage variance other than just mere convenience that, you know, I don't want to extend it because of the cost. I think if you did extend the roadway, I think it's a win-win in this regard. It's one less form of relief, which I don't think there's any basis for it. And then secondly, it would contribute to a better designed parking lot. And my 4th point is nothing on the stormwater system. There's no drainage system, it's just there. So I'm gonna have to assume that it's sheet runoff.
Correct.
I'm gonna assume it's worst case scenario, that's gonna go across the street onto the property of the abutters without. I have to assume worst case scenario. I can't assume best case scenario. So on that, those are my 4 points.
Great. Thank you, Gary. Steve?
I agree with Gary and I agree with Warren. I think fire department is at the top of my list because they are 3 bedrooms and you have to be concerned with people's lives. And I think I'd have to hear anyway from the fire department. But I also agree on the topography, the parking lot, looks like a sheet runoff to me. And I agree with Gary, and then DEM. So I don't know how I could support it with all those items outstanding.
Okay. Good discussion. I agree with them, all those points. I don't think I have to repeat any of them, so I'll entertain a motion. And again, I'll just state that what the summary is a recommendation to the zoning board regarding a request for a special use permit under section 203B4 district use regulations for multifamily use, as well as 28-foot lot width variance to construct a 3rd unit on the existing duplex at the above referenced property, 12 and 14 Main Street. Since I agree with all those points, I will definitely entertain a motion for a negative recommendation to the zoning board based on the number of items that this board has listed in our discussion. Is that substantial enough? in just referencing our discussion.
Incorporating the comments that were made amongst the board. members.
Yes.
Second,
Okay, so Gary, so moved,
second,
Mark seconded, all in favor of the negative recommendation? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm hearing none. Ayes have it. Negative recommendation to the zoning board. Thank you. Nothing left on the agenda except item number 5, 0 Victoria Avenue, which has been continued.
continue.
Do we have to vote on that? Continuance?
No, you didn't even open up the public hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only a recommendation anyway,
Okay. So any administrative reports?
not this month.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Make the, say so move.
Don't move.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
I.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Good night. Thank you. Good job, guys.
Well, I guess I.
Some information.
It was a short.
I mean, I would have been
Not
here.
as short as I would have thought. Sure.
I think it was 2 or 3 hours less than what it would have been.
That's right. Oh, I said, you think it's gonna be a long meeting? I said, I gotta go with Brent.
Huh?
No.
It's interesting.
You know, my predictions are always never accurate.
Well, yeah, it's always subject.
Yeah.
Who shows up and who-
You're welcome.
Yeah,
you good seeing
Yeah,
you.
thanks for covering.
No, anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah, fellas.
Yeah.
Gary,
Yeah.
That's,
Thank you.
last meeting.
Yeah, I'll look for your, email. I'm sorry.